Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Allison Cruz, and I'd like to welcome you back to the continuation of the Sleepyhead edition of Control here in the Foundation DLC, starring our guest host, Valentine's Day, with no other person talking, unfortunately. Last time, we did some business in the warehouse section. We cleared off one of the quote-unquote keys that is needed to cleanse this giant nail or something. But upon returning back to base camp, you'll notice there's a very familiar face. And no, it's not Ori deciding he all of a sudden doesn't want to cuddle because I started talking. It's our dear friend,
Jesse, hey!
Emily Poe.
Emily, how did she get down here?
Also, Ori is like sniffing the mic like intrusively. What's up?
What are you doing down here, Emily?
What do you mean? You called me down, remember?
I'm pretty sure I didn't.
No, that's right. You didn't. But then, I remember you needing me to come here. I mean, you even told me how to get in. Let's just chalk it up to synchronicity so we can get to work.
She takes everything in stride.
The board called me down here to deal with the situation. The astral plane is...
Colliding with our world, I know. Isn't it fascinating? I never even considered that the astral plane could be a physical volume expanding beyond its dimensional container. The bleed is localized to this area, but its growth rate seems steady. Given time, it will consume the entire Bureau, and possibly beyond.
That's what I'm here to stop. The board told me to fix the nail over there by dismantling 4 locks in the astral plane. Funny, I think it's put itself back together a bit.
So that could be due to the law of inverse exchange. For every associated component you remove, this nail reconstructs. Or possibly some variation of anti-sympathy. Don't worry, I'll look into it. Did you notice all the Bureau infrastructure? It looks like there was a research team stationed down here at some point. Do you think Darling knew about this?
I'd put money on it. That reminds me, have you seen Marshall? She contacted me over the hotline, but then I saw her walking around.
I haven't seen her. The hotline only connects to extraplanar entities. Or dead people. But Marshall's proved time and time again that she's a survivor.
That's exactly what I thought.
Anyway, I've been looking into the minerals growing down here. Have you noticed how they insist on maintaining a certain form? Maybe some sort of a state memory, or they consciously prefer a certain shape?
I think we're on a clock here, Emily. I need to stop the astral bleeding before it brings the oldest house down. See what you can find out from the nail in the meantime. And send out some rangers to look for Marshall. She may be in trouble.
Will do, Jesse. If you see anything interesting, remember to take detailed notes.
Right, because I'm certainly known for that. But we've got ourselves a new mission, Pope's Collection, which is probably what I would like to accomplish here, just so that we can mostly knock off everything we need to do in the warehouse section before moving on to, eastern parts of the Foundation area. Although we will return to the warehouse in the future, maybe one more time. But for now, this is a little different.
Jesse, you're back. So did you find anything noteworthy? The original Bureau expedition down here left so much interesting stuff behind.
Like their ID cards. I picked up a weird one. It's pretty old.
Oh wow, look at that. Yeah, I found a few ID cards myself. Or, more accurately, the Rangers found them for me.
Are you starting a collection?
I'm going for the whole set. I kid, of course. But I suppose they are sort of like baseball cards, except for Bureau stuff from the 60s. Hey, the one you found is different than mine. It looks like it's a higher clearance level.
A rare one, then. Want to keep it, Emily?
Yeah, I absolutely do. But I think you should hang on to it for now. High clearance access might come in handy.
Sounds like you have something in mind.
Guilty. See, I've been going through Dr. Ash's notes, or the ones I can find, anyway. Like Darling, he seemed to enjoy hiding his most relevant research. From what I gather, there is another floor beneath the warehouse with a special lab that requires 5 high-level staff members just to access. Here, take this. It's an old skeleton key. Something else the Rangers found. I give them $5 for every useful trinket they bring me.
I'm gonna assume this key is my ticket to that lower floor. And that super secret lab you mentioned.
Bingo bango, as Dr. Darling used to say. Well, keep your eyes peeled for more ID cards around the warehouse. If Ash's notes are reliable, and I'm sure they are, then 5 is the magic number.
All right, well, I'm sure you ladies probably have more you wanted to talk about, but it turns out we need 5 ID cards, and we are missing 2 of them, which means I'm missing 1 of them. And I was under the severe impression that I would have picked it up on my way up, because this is, I think, the one that I always end up missing. So we're gonna let's go Warehouse Rise and see if we can find anything right there. Okay, so I'm relatively certain I know which of the ID cards I missed, and it involves us having to head back into the warehouse through a hole that I did not previously visit, and that's because I sort of jumped the gun a little bit and ended up just kind of scaling this thing immediately, and this is one that is actually found much easier from the ground level, so we're going to go down very slowly from up here, just enjoy these extremely bright lights. And you'll see I've already had some contact down there near that control point, which I should have done. But what you need to do is from down here, you got to use your pullout in order to get up to this point so that you can end up flying over to this hole right here with a shining giant light on it. And this is the one that I missed on my first playthrough so many times just because it was like, eh. So there we go.
Another one of those ID cards. Security chief.
So technically, this one is our 4th ID card, but the 5th one is on the ground level. And the ID card that Pope gave us, turns out that one will actually get us down there. So we can get out of here and drop down here. And if we go all the way back to this closed door, we now have the clearance to open it. And with that, check it out. Our final ID card.
This ID card was for an excavation engineer. Why did so many people abandon their cards down here?
Wish I could tell you. Now, we have probably one of the more unique and, in my opinion, endearing puzzles of this. It's very reminiscent of like an escape room or something, but we have 5 places to put these ID cards so that we can bring this elevator back to life, take us to a secret underground lab, but we need to put them in the right order. Now, Jessie, being as, just as perfect as she is, she will tell us exactly where we need to put certain things. So, for example, this looks like an area that a cartographer would potentially, find some use out of their workspace. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the senior cartographer ID card here. And over here, it looks like we've got some tools, a light. Yeah, this might be interesting. Also, this might shed some light. So there is request denied by Ash as Chief Excavation Officer. All right, well, that basically answered that question. Let's go ahead and put that one right there. Now, right over here, we have the big head honcho one.
A layer of dust on this place. Nobody's swept here in years. Not even Ati. No way he'd stand for this. There's an elevator, which I'm sure is super safe, in a space in each terminal for an ID card. But which card goes where?
I like that now, after we're halfway through the puzzle, she decides to ponder among herself. But over here, we see a bunch of suits posing like really awkwardly. They all look photoshopped as hell onto those. So I guess we can only assume that the head of the team is probably there. So we'll set that up. And we've got basically a 50-50 check here. So this looks like someone with a lot of gumption, a lot of mind power. So we're going to head over here, and I would say this is probably the desk of a lead physicist over security chief. I'm sorry, just a typewriter doesn't really seem like something that, a head of security would have, unlike, all these weapons here. So this would make the most sense. So with that,
It worked. Now I just have to get on a rickety elevator that goes who knows how far down.
hell yeah. So that's kind of a cute puzzle. You don't really see too many of those in this game like that. And you will never, ever again. So we have a ton of places that we can go to. Starting with the basement lab, which is floor 0. And be prepared for a fight, of course. This is never going to be that easy.
Dust. Still, this lab's way tinier than any of Darling's.
It's kind of a neat looking place. Lots of exhibitions and other things are exhibits, exhibitions. But if we try to open
Why
this,
would they need such a heavy door down here?
ooh, interesting. If we try to approach it, surprise, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, this guy. So we have Gibbs over here, and he's a little bit unique in the sense that he has a different type of attack that he hits us with. It's a tractor beam of sorts, which is very annoying to contend with. Also, he's got his little minions off doing his bidding, so anytime he does his laser attack, you are going to want to probably shield up. It makes kind of a funny noise, but it helps. Alright, so we'll get rid of him, and we'll just try to take this guy out. We have already done pretty good chunk of damage, but we don't want to be caught in that for very long at all. Also, his invisibility frames are obscene. Nope, you don't get to do that move too. That's rude. Unless you're a friend, which I don't think you were. Alright, so just launch stuff at him. Shoot him if you can. Hopefully he didn't spawn another guy and it's just him being a little bee. Oh, look at that. Jesus Christ, dude. Alright, so let's go run and grab some of this health over here. There we go. Maybe survive for a second. Alright, where are you at? Me and my shiny gun will kill you. Oh, damn, dude. There, did I actually kill him with that? I did. God damn it, hiss nodes. Alright, so with Gibbs dead, there's not a lot else for us to do here. Although, before you head up, whatever you do, make sure you activate this valve. It's a little bit lower there, Jesse, but there you go. Well done. That probably did something, right? Yes, it did. So, looking around, I don't think there's too many other things aside from that chest in the valve. So, what else are we going to do other than to head through the door that was blocked? Ladies and gentlemen, another piece.
This looks like the nail, only mini.
The mini nail. Okay, well, let's go grab this. And it's the Northmoor. Final warning. This is probably important. To Dr. Theodore Ash Jr. as Director of the Federal Bureau of Control, blah, 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 blah. Director Broderick Northmoor. Who in the hell is that? I haven't heard of that guy except for down here where we got his medical results. Or at least somebody's in his name, but still. It's crazy, man. Alright, well, as much as I'd love to do some hiss nodes, we're going to skip that for now because Dr. Ash's notes are right here.
A document. Is this in some kind of code? I can't read a word of it. I should take this back to Emily and tell her I got into Ash's secret lab.
Are we sure it's not Count Olaf's on account of all of the eyes here? Possibly not, but yeah, we can't really do anything or interact with this any further, so it just means that we gotta head on back upstairs, which is good news for us because we never have to come back down here again. I think. No hidden areas down here and nothing. So, you know what we could actually do? We could try this just so that we don't have to come back here in the future and just get it all done and over with right now, and that is taking out the mysterious hiss nodes that were waiting in between floors 5 and 6. Now, if you've played the game, you know you need to take out the hiss nodes in a set amount of time before they disappear, otherwise you're gonna have to do it again. This is where this part becomes problematic, is because we have to get basically 4 of them in a row immediately right off the bat. Now, I haven't practiced this in a couple of months, but if we come out of 5, I think we'll be able to figure it out because each subsequent one will end up being 90 degrees to the right, and then we just have to time it right. So that's something I probably just will cut when I get the right one, but it's not really all that hard. And the first time I played this, my game actually glitched. So hold on, let's see if this works. So that wasn't even there. So wait, yep, so it's right there. And then timing. And then there we go. So the timing isn't that bad. We just have to remember that it starts on this side right there. Now this looks like a chest that I missed because I'm an idiot and I went the other way. Okay, so I believe we can't get it on the way down. If we could, that would be kind of cool. I'm not entirely I don't think we can. Yeah, it has to be on the way up. So I'll just show this one attempt and then we'll do it. We'll do it again. But the first time I tried to go from floor 5 to 6, my game glitched and it didn't let me go beyond 6. So I ended up... Oh, is it actually? No, it's right here, isn't it? That's weird. It starts on this side, on this left-hand side. Okay, I'm messing myself all up. And it like really threw me off and I couldn't figure out how to proceed until I tried it again. And it just, it's really annoying when games do that. Oops. Timing, Mr. Cruz. Timing, Mr. Cruz. And last but not least. Whoop! Damn it! Jesus. Of course I had to say something. Okay, I feel like the biggest idiot for not having realized this sooner, but I think the reason why I thought it glitched is because if you enter this menu here while you're going up, the elevator will come to a stop and you can actually kind of juke it out so that you can just stop it right beforehand. It doesn't mean that you can really like dilly-dally, but if you're fast enough, I guess it could help. But yeah, I guess that is a perfectly reasonable way to do this. Didn't have to do it, so getting all 4 in a row will cause this to appear. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I haven't edited the previous footage yet, but this is our first instance of collecting 1 of 8 cat figurines. And we're gonna need to find them all and go back to that place that we saw a while back and see what happens once we do. These have some of the most annoying puzzles in this entire game to contend with, so that's just something we're gonna have to deal with, but you know what, I'm perfectly okay with it because the prize we get for it is pretty incredible. So with all of that business in the warehouse being completed and all taken care of, it's time to return to Pope and show her the rewards of our work here. What's up?
I found Ash's secret lab.
Excellent. Please tell me everything. Spare no details.
Well, there was another cave. The walls were covered in paintings of eyeballs. The research seemed dedicated to studying a kinda smaller version of the nail. It looked like the same material as the one up here, but just a different shape.
Well, are you sure you didn't see any functioning prototypes? Or at least some schematics? I mean, Dr. Ash was a very accomplished engineer.
None. Sorry. I did find this handwritten note.
Wow. Ash had terrible handwriting. Never meet your heroes, right? That looks like a transcribed conversation between Ash and someone named F. Ooh. Oh, this is juicy. This'll take me days to parse out. Maybe weeks.
Have you ever thought about taking a vacation, Emily?
Are you kidding? This is my vacation, Jesse.